What's up, everyone? Champhead's back again for another UFC predictions video. This time for UFC 314, the highly anticipated matchup, the return of Alexander the Great Volkanovski versus the up-and-coming Diego Lopes, the Dream. Oh, man. I'm excited. I'm going to this card. I fly out on Friday, and I'm going to be at weigh-ins, and I'm going to be having a great time. Very excited for this card, and this card is going to be very fun. I will say this. Usually when I go to cards, I usually don't really bet most of the fights. Like, I just want to enjoy the experience while I'm there. I do have one specific bet, and I'll go over it when it comes up. And yeah, and maybe some. But I'll still mention things that, like betting wise, that I like that are on the card. So we'll go over that when we get there. But first, as always, we recap last week how we did. Sad. If Gurule didn't just get randomly, I shouldn't say randomly. I'm being very disrespectful saying randomly. If he didn't let down his defense and get caught, I mean, he was looking great in that fight against Ode Osborne, and it would have worked out. So that sucks. It is what it is. I was willing to play Gurule there pretty big because I had a lot of belief in him. I still do have a lot of belief in him. I mean, he was doing really good against Ode. Just he got caught. That was Ode Osborne's win condition, but we'll go over everything else first. So let's go in order of the card. In terms of the betting, I had Budai fight ends in round 3 or decision. I know in my video I said I was like not interested in like anything in that fight, Uran versus Budai, but then I was like, let me give it one more like look on Uran. It's just I didn't like anything I saw. And to be fair, maybe I should have like not even played this because this was like pretty close, to be honest. I thought there was sort of an argument for what's his name? I'm completely blanking right now. For Uran to win the fight, like because he hurt him round 3 pretty badly. Although I mean, with judges, they forget, they seem to forget some stuff. So maybe it's like, okay, Budai recovered. It was just one moment. He won the rest of the round, so maybe they gave it to Budai. I didn't check the scorecards, but. Yeah, and I thought round 1 was like close. It could have arguably went either way. I'll take it. I didn't play it like that hard. But yeah, I ended up going with Budai round 3 decision because I didn't think he would be getting no finish on this fight. I thought it'd go long at a pretty high clip, and it did. Next fight I had a bet on. I think it was Reese McKee. This is so unfortunate. I bet Reese McKee to win by sub or decision. He got a TKO. I really wasn't expecting that. I thought Frunze would be really durable, and to be fair, he absolutely was. I mean, and I thought I was like, okay, there's actually a good chance this is live, but I mean, his eye was completely shot. But that's not why the fight got stopped. It was the lip. The lip getting destroyed as it was. The fight had to stop. So. I mean, man, credit to Reese McKee. I felt really good picking Reese McKee, but I wish I just took the money line, but it is what it is. I mean, if the fight kept going, I thought there was maybe a chance that would have happened because maybe like Reese is like, okay, I'm just going to take this guy down. So I don't think his Frunze's takedown defense is like that great, especially as the fight goes on. But honestly though, great win by Reese McKee. He looked amazing. So shout out to him. Next fight I had to bet on. It was Dione Barbosa. That was my technically my biggest bet of the card. With like not necessarily like I'll make the most from it, but it's like Dione's going to win this fight, and actually, man, she did. She absolutely did win this fight. I was getting worried to begin with. It's like, why is she standing for so long against Belbitsa? But even there in the stand-up, she was doing well, landing good shots, super athletic, super explosive early on. And then once the fight hit the ground, it was pretty much game over. And that's exactly what I expected. I was willing to eat the chalk in that one. I think it was completely reasonable. Minus 500. At any time that hit the ground, she's going to cover. So, great one by Dione Barbosa. The next one I had a bet on was... So it's going to be Robert Valentin. I'm so happy I played this the way I did. I played Robert Valentin to finish only, and if they went to scorecards, no action. That was a great play. Not because he didn't win, obviously. That sucked. But like I didn't lose anything from it. I think it's arguable Valentin won the fight, to be honest. I thought you could give him... I mean, I scored it differently than most people. I think some people say rounds 1 and 3 to Valentin. I thought rounds 2 and 3. The reason why I give rounds 2... I mean, 3 is pretty obvious, but round 2 to Valentin was because, like, sub attempts and, like, those, like, elbows at the end of the round were, like, the most anything was done to me on that round. I thought the sub attempts were basically, like... They were like the only real things in the round to me, so I thought there was an argument for 2-3. But am I surprised Finney won? No, not really. I mean, he was pretty dominant in terms of like wrestling, although maybe not necessarily that dominant because I mean he's kind of holding him the whole time. But fair play to Finney. He's still super raw, and I'm not sure about him in the future. Still, I mean, I was willing to take a shot with Swiss Yuri, as I like to call him, Robert Valentin. Probably will be looking to fade him more in the future, so we'll see. But that was a great play. The scorecard's no action. I can't be too mad. That was the way I played Valentin. The next one I had a bet on, I don't know, is Gurule. Getting more into it, Gurule looking amazing early. I thought it was like, this is perfect, exactly how I saw the fight. I was like, I knew this guy could win round 1, so it made sense not to necessarily lie bet him, and it just gets starched. It gets starched in round 2. It is what it is. I don't really have much more to say about that. Fair play to Ode. I like Ode a lot, so I'm not gonna be mad. Like, Ode's the guy who won. Ode's cool. Need that after like a losing streak, so good for Ode. And I still have a lot of belief in Luis Gurule. I mean, you could see in that fight like that this dude got skills. This dude has skills, and he has a skill level worthy of top 15 in my opinion. I stand on that. You got to be more aware of the power coming back at him. I did like that he was more willing to wrestle than he's had in like some past fights. So I think that was a good sign for Gurule as well. So yeah, shout out to him. Oh my god, I just realized I forgot another bet I had on the card. My bad. Estela Nunes, Loma Luke Boomy. I forgot to mention that. I had a very, very small bet on Estela Nunes, and I thought she was very close to winning. I think I gave rounds 1 and 3 to Loma, but I thought round 1 could have went to Estela. It was pretty close, and she ended around on top. And I don't know, sometimes women's MMA, they like women who finish on top of on the end of round with the wrestling. But I did think Loma did win round 1. I thought she did more damage. But yeah, Loma did not cover that price tag. She did not cover that price tag. I'd bet Estela again. And I'm very sad to hear that she's not in the UFC anymore. I love Estela. I hope she gets a win streak or something outside the UFC and maybe finds a way back in. Probably not, but who knows? Still love me some Estela Nunes. She's not that bad. Now back on course. I had Brad Tavares and like a few things. I had him to win by a decision, which was pretty good bet. Oh my god, I forgot another one. I'll talk about Brad Tavares. I was so surprised. I mean, I said this in my video. I was so surprised how many people were on GM3. I just didn't think even like a wash Tavares, even if you want to call him that. It's just a stylistic nightmare for GM3, and it absolutely showed. You just can't get takedowns. The speed's going to be such a big difference. Brad Tavares is going to do his thing. Like, maybe he gets like randomly falls down, but Brad Tavares always had good get up ability and stuff like that. So I thought that was crazy. I really wish I put more on it, but I mean, it is what it is. I can't really. Maybe I was falling into like a little worried about Tavares being like, is he really this washed to lose a GM3? And he wasn't. So shout out to Brad Tavares. I forgot to mention, I had a little bet on Henry wins by decision, but it was like on a parlay with Tavares by decision. I had Henry by decision. I was shocked he dropped Falcao in round 1. I could not believe that for a second. I was like, there's no way this happened. Falcao came back. I thought he won round 2, Falcao, and then round 3, Henry able to do his thing. Great volume. It's just what Victor Henry does. I ended up playing Victor Henry more 6 strikes there too, and it was a very good bet. He looked good. I thought Henry looked really good, so shout out to him. Now back onto it, and then I think the last bet I have is... No, I'm wrong. Brito wins in round 1 and 2. I had a very, very small play on this because I was like, I'm very, very scared of Sabatini because, like, considering the fact that we've seen Brito taken down before, I didn't think it would matter. I thought he'd still find the chin and just murk him, but he didn't. He didn't, and because of that, he got absolutely dominated on the ground. Impressive performance by Sabatini. I didn't lose money on this. I mean, obviously, it can't track this on BetMe.tips, but I said in the video, I was like, Pat Sabatini more takedowns. That's the way to play it, because I'd be shocked if Brito goes for any takedowns. like Sabatini's going to be the one going for takedowns, and even then, I knew Brito's going to like go for like a guillotine. He can't help himself. Which is why I kept this so small. And I'm happy I kept this small instead of going crazy. And I think I played his win condition, which was rounds 1 and 2. Like finishing rounds 1 and 2. So yeah, I can't be that mad at myself for that. So yeah, that's that for that one. And then Lerone Murphy. I had a bet on Lerone Murphy. I wish I went harder on him, but it is what it is. I was surprised with how close the scorecards were. I lost the minus 5.5 by like 1. That sucks. But like honestly, I thought there's a legitimate argument for like 5-0 Murphy. Like I thought he completely dominated the fight. Like I mean, the argument for 5-0. I think I gave round 3 to Emmett, but like round 1, I thought that it looked like to me the elbow split open Emmett. I mean, if it was a headbutt, even then I thought the better work was coming from Lerone Murphy to me. Just more significant strikes landed. I had also bet significant strikes on Lerone Murphy, which is, I mean, I thought that was going to be easy work, and it pretty much was. But I thought Lerone Murphy just controlled the fight. He fought a smart fight, and I said that going in. I really believed, like, okay, he got dropped against Ige. He knows the danger with Josh Emmett, and the only way he loses this fight if he does what he did against Ige, and he didn't. And I want to give major props to Lerone Murphy. Great fight IQ. I love me some Lerone Murphy. I think he's really good. It might get a little tough for him at the top of the division depending on the matchups. Like, I'd be worried about him versus Volkanovski or Movsar. But, I mean, some of these other guys, I think he can absolutely beat these guys. Lerone Murphy's so good. And yeah, I also really like from Lerone Murphy in this fight improvements. We saw in the Dan Ige fight, his takedown defense got exploited, and maybe like his get-ups as well. Like, not so great, even though he's able to find a way to get up eventually in that fight. In this fight, able to get up pretty quickly. Takedown defense was on point against Josh Emmett. He did sort of out wrestled Ige a while ago, to be fair, but there's something to mention. I think showing improvement still. Love to see it from Lerone Murphy. Big fan of Lerone Murphy. Very happy that the guy got it done. So yeah. And that's that for the bets. Now let's just get on to the overall card itself. The rest of the fights. I went 7 of 12. That's okay. I didn't think I did that great, but yeah, there were some not so great ones. Vanessa Demopoulos loses to Talita Alencar. I went with Demopoulos. I thought she would be able to like maybe do something similar to the Kanako Murata decision where she was like landing elbows and stuff from bottom. But shout out to Talita Alencar. I mean, she took top position and did some fantastic work to where Vanessa Demopoulos really couldn't do any of that. And I have to also say, Vanessa Demopoulos looked awful on the feet. She looked awful on the feet in this fight in particular. And I was like, I was really shocked by it because I was expecting like Talita to look awful on the feet herself. And like maybe it's because she looked really bad on the feet in her last 2 fights against like probably better girls than Vanessa Demopoulos. And also Luciano was like so much bigger. So that's part of it. I was expecting Alencar to gas. She didn't have a chance to gas because she kept finding top position. So, and again, I thought because of the work Demopoulos would be able to do on bottom, she would be able to gas Alencar. Didn't really happen. I did end up putting a live bet on Demopoulos. I like plus 200 to plus 250, somewhere in that range. I didn't go that hard because like, okay, this is a little. She's in a bad position in round 1, but it's like I'm still banking on Alencar to gas out. Didn't end up happening, but happy I bet at that number as opposed to betting it pre. So I think that's something to be happy about. What else did I not have a bet on? If I might have had a bet on. Oh, here we go. Chango Lee, Cortavius Romeus. I'm so happy I didn't play this guy, Romeus. I was tempted, but like, no. Especially with the line coming in. Man, he looked awful. He fought horribly dumb. Good positions at times. Goes for a sub, falls down. I knew that going in. I just thought I think there's a chance like the athleticism just be too much for Chango Lee. And we saw glimpses of it with Romeus, and I mean, the glimpses were there. It's cool, but not able to get it done. So it is what it is. Shout out to Chango Lee to get the win. I mean, just it looked dominant. I'm not dominant. I wouldn't say dominant, but like, he looked pretty good doing it. But against Romeus, I don't think it's like the craziest thing ever. And yeah, those are my stuff. That's stuff I had for last card. Let's get into UFC 314. I am so excited for this card. Again, not going to be betting on much of this, although I do have some things I'm like interested in looking at and maybe I'm considering. So let's get into it. Nora Cannoli versus Haley Cowan. I think this fight can actually be a banger. And you know what? I like Nora Cannoli to win by finish in round 2. I think all the finishing upside is on Nora Cannoli. And I saw a number earlier this week on Nora Cannoli inside the distance. Like and decision no action specifically. And it was like really close. And I was like, what are we doing here? She's a finisher. This girl Nora is a finisher. And like she doesn't necessarily do so great in decisions. That sounds like a great bet to me. Yeah, I think Nora Cannoli can absolutely finish Haley Cowan. Well, I've not really been impressed by in her past tape, especially against Jamie Lynn Horth, who I think is not good at all. I know Jamie Lynn Horth did all right against Miranda Maverick on short notice, but I think that was Miranda Maverick having like a pretty off night, that more than Jamie Lynn Horth being any sort of incredible. I will say this though. Haley Cowan's been at that Denver camp with like Miranda Maverick and what's her name? Rose Namajunas, those sorts of girls. And like I know I mentioned this when Eunice Dubin was fighting Carly Judice. I was like, Dubin did her camp at this gym for like a month or whatever. You're not gonna change in all that time. So what if she's at that gym training with good girls for a little while? Carly Judice is gonna smoke her. The difference here, Haley Cowan has been at that gym for a while now, so there is actually a chance she does get better. So I think that's something to keep in mind. So I like that's why I like this like finish only approach, because I don't think Haley Cowan's gonna finish Nora, but I think the finish equity for Nora Cannoli is pretty high. I think she's a pretty physical girl herself, Nora, and I think she has a little more pop. She has a little more pop than these other girls. If Haley Cowan is going to win, I think it's probably improvements in the wrestling. It's like she's finally showing her potential, because she has like a wrestling background, if I remember correctly. I know she had this weird situation with her coach. I think it was like her husband or something like that, and had child stuff, and it was disgusting. But since then, now in a new gym, I will say there is a chance for an upset. I would not be shocked if there is. But I do think Nora does win the fight. Next, I have the card. Tresean Gore versus Marco Tulio. And yeah, this is actually one of the plays I'm considering like putting some money on. Like the inside the distance. Like finish no action. No. Decision no action. I gotta speak clearly. I think that's like a really good play. And like, I know I'm not betting much on this card, but like this is something I'm like seriously considering. Anyways, Tresean Gore versus Marco Tulio. I something in my soul wants me to pick Gore, but I just can't do it. It's Tulio, but I think Gore will be tough in there. I think he'll go to decision. Yeah, I'll go decision. I think Gore will be tough in there, and I think Tulio will fight a smart fight, similar to how he did in his like Dana White Contender Series against Belgarui. Gore's not that bad. He's actually pretty all right. I don't think he's like a horrible underdog if you want to take him for like just for value alone. I don't think Tulio should be this number. I do think he wins. I do think he's just a more developed game. I will shout out Tresean Gore at MMA Lab. I love that gym, and I think that's like a good sign he's training with them. He looked great against Tricoli, but then again, it's Tricoli. I don't put that much stock into that. I do think it's a step up from Tricoli. Wouldn't be shocked if Gore wins, I will say that, but I am going with Tulio. But I do think Gore can compete and do well. Maybe that spread would be interesting. I'm actually curious what that spread looks like. Out of curiosity, that spread might be somewhat like interesting because it could be a competitive fight. Just out of curiosity, I just want to see if it's a good number or not. I'm assuming it would be plus 175. Tresean Gore plus 3.5 spread. I don't hate that. If you want to have like a dog play on this fight, I don't hate that. But for me, I'm staying away. Again, going at the event, I'm probably not going to be betting most of this stuff. But yeah, Tulio, I think he gets to win. Suma Darji versus Mitch Raposo. I've been surprised hearing the things I've been hearing about this fight all week. I like Sue. I'm gonna go decision because Mitch is a tough dude. He's a really tough dude. But like, I think Sue cruises here. I think if the closest thing to a lock, I say in quotation marks, there's no real such thing as a lock in MMA. But if I had to like gun to my head, pick one person as a lock in this card, I think it's Sue. Like, I don't really know what Mitch is going to be able to do. I think people are bringing up the wrestling. It's like, oh, Mitch is going to be able to wrestle him. He's been training with Patchy Mix. So what? Training at the New England Cartel. He's been there for years now. But we saw against Charles Johnson, Sue looked amazing, especially in the grappling. I think Charles Johnson's grappling is better than Mitch Raposo's. And in the striking, Sue looked great. I thought there was a legit argument Sue won that fight against Charles Johnson. It was extremely close. I think Suma Darji is really good. I think if it was like any other night, I'd probably be betting. Sue. And I am considering putting a little bit on Sue or something like that. I'm not sure. But I would tell you, if I'm betting this card normally, I'm not going to the event. I'm 100% putting a lot of money on Sue. This probably might be my biggest or second biggest bet on the card. I like Sue here a lot. I think he's going to cruise in this fight, and he's going to look great doing it. And actually, out of curiosity, what is the minus 3.5 on Sue? Like the spread? Because I don't think I hate that. Mitch might compete, though, so maybe it'd be better to not bet it. But I'm just curious at the number, because I know a lot of people think Mitch can get around. And I'm not sure if he does. Minus 3.5 plus 115. I don't hate that. I think that's an okay way to play it. But I think the money line is great as well. Although I will say this, both these guys are bangers and like willing to go to war. I think the under is live, to be fair, or like even Sue KO. I think that's pretty live too. Mitch cracks too, so the under is probably the better way to play it. But yeah, I do think Sue cruises, and it's gonna be a really fun fight. Yeah, I like me some Suma Darji. Cedric Dumas versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Give me Dumas. I like him here. And you know what? I think he gets a submission. I think his ground game is gonna improve. I know a lot's being made of Mikhail Oleksiejczuk going to the Fighting Nerds. What has the Fighting Nerds done to some of these other people that have moved there recently? Like Myron Bueno Silva, Ricardo Ramos. They've not gotten better. And in fact, you might even argue they've gotten worse, especially MBS. She looked awful against Jasmine Justivicius. She just got a punching bag. She's just a punching bag there. I get the difference. I know Mikhail was just training at his own, like, garage gym. I get that. So, like, okay, if there's anything that might actually make improvements, fair enough. Mikhail maybe could. And he's still pretty young, to be fair to Mikhail. But I have to say, like, I don't think his ground game is going to be all that much better. It's just sad because I love Mikhail so much, and I'd like to see him win. I mean, both these guys are kind of my guys, even though I've not really been, since I've been on this channel, I've not been betting Mikhail at all. Yeah, the Michel Pereira one would be the only one, like, where it started at my channel. Yeah, I just think the ground game difference is too much. It's too wide of a ground game difference for Dumas to be this much of a dog. I don't get it. Dumas is the Florida guy. He's going to try to show out for his crowd. It would be a worry that if he tries to stand with Mikhail, Dumas probably could crack Mikhail, but Mikhail's a tough dude to get out of there. So kind of rather him not. I'd rather him go fight smart, wrestle if he's gonna try and win. So I would say like maybe be a little cautious with Dumas because of that. Like I do sort of worry about maybe like a fight IQ moment where just he's dumb for a moment and doesn't wrestle. But he has shown he's been wrestling in recent fights. And I have to also mention Dumas has insane physical intangibles. And I think that actually that absolutely can play a factor here. Yeah, I like Dumas, especially when the wrestling and grappling. It's not like his wrestling grappling is necessarily like the greatest thing ever. He's still young. He's still green in MMA, but getting better. But it's been working at middleweight. He has an all right skill set with that wrestling attached with his striking, which isn't that great. I personally don't think it's that great. But the wrestling is like it's good enough to get wins. Yeah, give me Dumas. I think that's going to be enough to win. I think he can find a submission. And I'm curious what those odds are. Again, I'm not going to be betting this. If it was any other night, I probably would be. I probably would be betting on Dumas, probably money line, and maybe a small shot on Dumas sub, because I think that might be like an interesting angle. I'm curious. Dumas sub plus 800. That's good as I was hoping, but that's how I would play it if I had to pick a prop. But Dumas money line I think is good. If there's any other night, Dumas is a dog. I'm in for sure. Darren Elkins versus Julian Erosa. Juicy J. Yeah, I think Juicy J wins. I'm going to go decision. I think Elkins is going to be a tough son of a gun in there. And, it worries me with Erosa because I just have this feeling he's going to pull for guillotine. And the one guy you do not want to pull guillotines on is Darren Elkins or any other Team Alpha Male guy, except for Andre Feely for some reason. I couldn't believe he got subbed by Malcosta with the guillotine because he's Team Alpha Male guy. They never get subbed by guillotines. But besides the point, I do think Erosa is just the youth advantage is a little too much, and he's just gonna be too much in the striking. Would I be shocked if Elkins maybe like gets like a takedown and like holds position? Honestly, maybe not. I don't think that's out of the possibility. So I do think it's like dog or pass at the line, but honestly, you're probably better off passing. I think if I had to pick like something to bet, the over 2.5, I think Elkins is going to be a tough guy. Is going to be there for war. If I had to play anything, that would be it. I do think Erosa wins. I think it's going to be too much, especially at both their ages and their careers. But who knows with Juicy J? Like that guy's chin is so bad that maybe somehow Darren Elkins, who doesn't really have KO power, gets a random finish. That'd be hilarious. But that's probably not going to happen. So because of the chin not being as much of a scare because he's fighting Darren Elkins, Juicy J is probably pretty safe. A safe bet to win. Although the odds are, again, nasty. There are ways Juicy J can find a way to mess this up. Chase Hooper versus Jim Miller. I think Chase Hooper wins. I want to go by sub round 2. I think Jim Miller might be dangerous early, especially with the possibility of getting a KO early on Chase. I don't think that's like out of the question. But as the fight goes on, it's going to be the Chase Hooper show. I love him a lightweight. I think he's been improving steadily, getting very good, growing in that weight class. I like Hoop here. I think he survives a sort of early barrage, or maybe finds a way to make it a grappling battle early. I favor a grappling battle for Chase Hooper, and I think he's gonna put it on Jim Miller and win via submission. It could be TKO though. I will say that it could be TKO with like positional, because again, Jim Miller's BJJ is not that bad. It's just me thinking like, okay, I just have a lot of belief in Chase Hooper's jiu-jitsu, so that's what I'm going with. Verna Janjidoba versus Yan Zhao Nun. I'm gonna go crazy. Oops, need that. I'm gonna go Yan Zhao Nun. I'm gonna go decision. This is really like ballsy, to be honest with you. If it was like another night where it's like not a pay-per-view I'm going to, I probably would maybe put some sort of play on Yan Zhao Nun, but it would be like small. Like I totally get the angle with Verna Janjidoba, and I'm super surprised by the line. Like, why is the line like this? Why is it this close? Like I was expecting Verna to be a much bigger favorite, but I do have to acknowledge, like I do worry about Verna here. I think the cardio is a big worry. I think the size advantage for Yan Jiannan can be a pretty big factor. I liked her performance a lot against Ricci. I think she can do a similar sort of thing, although Verna is going to be harder to do that with than Ricci. Ricci probably has better striking than Verna, but Verna's grappling game is just, I mean, it's one of the best in the division. Absolutely. But I think Yan Jiannan can do something similar to what she did last time against Ricci. And even then, I liked some of the flashes I saw in that Zhang Wei Li fight, where she's clearly shown so much improvements in the wrestling and the grappling throughout her time. Against Carla Esparza, and back then, I was all over Carla Esparza in that fight, because I was like, Yan Jiannan has zero grappling. She has come a long way from that time. She actually can. She actually has some things on the ground. Again, I wouldn't advise her to go on the ground in front of Janchidova, but I think she can find a way to maybe win off cardio, like Janchidova not being able to do enough. I think she can win off damage, because Janchidova, I mean, again, I know it's women's MMA, so it's like they do have a tendency, judges, to love girls getting takedowns and staying on top. But I mean, Yan Jiannan does hit sort of different in this weight class. Like, even if she doesn't get many KOs, I know she got KO'd Andrade once, but honestly, that's kind of about it for the most part. Off the top of my head, I'm probably forgetting. But still, when you see her connect, it does feel different when she connects. I mean, she knocked down Zhang Wei Li. I mean, that was impressive. Like that Zhang Wei Li fight, it really impressed me so much, especially with her going through the adversity she did. I mean, some people say like she should have got subbed in round 1 and like finished like TKO'd in that fight as well, and she still was able to put some damage on Zhang Wei Li. Impressive. I don't think I'd put it past her to do well in a rematch. I'll tell you what. I'll say that. But this is a different fight, of course. Yeah, again, I get why people are betting Verna, but I do think Yan Jiannan wins. I think she's going to be able to do more damage and win off of that. So, yeah, give me Yan Jiannan to win. But I'm not super confident in Yan Jiannan. I will say that. Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson. I like Sean Woodson here. I think he's going to win a decision. It'll be a fun fight. Ige, always game. Super durable, so it's hard to call anyone for a finish. I mean, maybe if he gets KO'd here, it have to be like a Sean Woodson knee, right? I don't know what else it could be. But Sean Woodson's such a good minute winner. And I think Sean Woodson's getting overlooked a lot because of this Luis Saldana fight. He looked awful against Luis Saldana. He looked garbage. I will attest to that. I had money on Woodson there, and I was like scared for my life with Saldana. And like Saldana like fouling like was a lifeline for Woodson. But he's not looked like the same guy since that night. And even before that night. I know going into that fight, his mom was embezzling funds to gamble from her job. And like that's going to mess with him psychologically. Not to mention that fight was at elevation. Something else to consider. So I think all that sort of stuff adds to maybe why Woodson didn't do so good in that performance. And I liked how he's looked in these other fights. He should not have went to split with Jourdain. I had money on Jourdain there. He should not have gotten the split with Jourdain. Caceres, I thought he looked good. Close fight. Caceres can be trouble. Padilla looked amazing. I was there live for that. And I was on Woodson there. I saw a lot of people love Padilla there. I was like, I like Woodson here. I'm a Padilla doubter, to be fair, but I think Woodson kind of has the goods. I think he kind of has the goods. Ige, I think he's knockout or bust / he needs to wrestle. But I don't know if he's going to be able to have wrestling ability. Like, I think it's going to be really tough to be able to wrestle Sean Woodson. But I mean, if he can somehow find a way to get on top, that's a method of victory. But otherwise, I think he's going to have to find a KO. And I don't really know how he's going to be able to find the KO with how Woodson fights. He's such a good minute winner. And I think the distance, the the range difference is just gonna be too much, honestly. So yeah, give me Sean Woodson. I like him to win this fight. Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes. I'm so excited for this fight. I love me some Nikita Krylov. I love this guy. I think this guy can legitimately become a champion. I think he can beat Ankalaev. I really do. So I gotta go Krylov here. And you know what? I'm gonna go. Do we go round 1 or round 2? Interesting. It's very interesting, actually. I am going to go submission, but it's more. I'm predicting a club and sub because I think he can find a way to hurt Reyes on the feet and then get a sub. I think I'll go round 2 because round 1's Krylov can be like a little slow to start, but he can build in. Yeah, I like Krylov. I'm worried about the layoff. I'm very, very worried about the layoff. I have to say that. But, like, if it's not for the layoff, man, I'm here on Krylov all day. I've been on Reyes this past 2 fights. I bet on Reyes to beat Jacoby. I bet on Reyes to beat Anthony Smith. And, like, it had the most insane lineup. Bovada was, like, plus 315, like, for him to get a finish inside the distance. I mean, that was a ridiculous line that Bovada had. And they clearly made a mistake, but they honored it. It was very, very nice. Appreciate you. I didn't bet. I wish I bet more on it, but then again, I don't want to get my account banned, so there's that too. Yeah. But this is different. I think Krylov's a lot better than those guys that Reyes just fought. Pretty durable guy in general, Nikita Krylov. Would I be shocked if Reyes like catch him? No. But I do think there's a big difference on the ground. I think it could be at least a round if if Krylov can get a takedown. Or it could be literally the fight. Who gets on the ground. And I get it. Reyes is really hard to take down. I get it. But I do think Nikita Krylov is on that level, man. These guys good. And on the feet, I like the versatility of Krylov's game. He went 3 rounds with Ankalaev in a close fight. He's got really good kickboxing. I love me some Krylov, man. I think this dude's the real deal. I have like a 0.5 cent, or not 0.5 cent, 50 cent bet on like Krylov to be champion at the end of the year. And like, I didn't go that far hard on it because I was like, with Krylov, you never know if he's even going to be even active and if he's even going to get a title shot. So that's why I'm like going super small on it. But it's like pretty crazy odds considering, especially with the win streak he's on. I like Krylov. I think he's going to get the win here against Dominic Reyes. I think he's going to get a club and sub. I think he can hurt Reyes. And again, do we know if Reyes' chin is necessarily like all good, all better? I don't know. I will say this. Reyes is probably in a better mental state than he has been in some of his losses. We'll have to say that. So I think that's part of like why Reyes is doing so bad. But the chin is still a worry as he's getting older. Nikita Krylov, younger. I'm worried about the layoff. It might show early on the fight. And maybe that's a live betting opportunity on Krylov. He got hurt against Volkanovski, able to come back in that fight and win. So yeah, give me Nikita Krylov. I think he wins this fight. Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull. This is an interesting one to break down. I'm gonna take Yair. I'm gonna selfishly say round 2 KO just for the fun of it. But I will say this. I'm not confident at all, and I'll tell you exactly why. I just can't like. I feel like logically in my head, Yair really should outstrike Pitbull and do what he needs to do to win. He really should be able to. But I just cannot unsee Pitbull like getting Yair Rodriguez and clinching him against the fence. I can't unsee it. And it's like I can see this fight being so boring. I'm rooting for Yair because a Yair win I think is going to be fun. And I think a Pitbull win might be boring. And I don't want that. But I mean, logically, though, I do think Yair Rodriguez is going to be the one doing damage and landing better. Again, though, with Pitbull, I don't think Pitbull's a bad dog shot at all to bet this week. I think at the press conference he had with where Volkanovski told Pitbull, "Hey, I'm going to be active. You no problem. Get a win, get a spectacular finish, get a win. You're next or something like that. And I think Pitbull is going to take that to heart, but maybe not necessarily, like, he's going to do what he needs to do to win, not necessarily, like, make it entertaining. I think he's going to fight a smart fight and make sure he wins. I'm not sure that will be enough to win, but I do think he's going to probably fight smart. And if this fight goes long, it's like, if Yair's not really hurting Pitbull, it is scary. Like, I'm not sure if he's going to be the one winning the decision. I think a good bet to shout out in this fight is Patricio Pitbull. Finish, no action, win by decision. I think that's a good bet on Pitbull, honestly. And I think it's like dog odds too. So I think that's a great way to play Pitbull. Because again, if it goes to decision, it's probably likely he's the one like getting his hand raised with that kind of thing. So that to consider. But again, I do think like Yair is gonna outstrike him. I just his past performances have not looked all that great in my opinion. Chichiro, I mean, I'm gonna say this to be funny. Like Pitbull got KO'd by Ryzen Randa. To be fair, Suzuki's not bad. Suzuki's pretty good actually. He's a good kickboxer at least. And that was like short notice, so I can't be even like that mad. I was watching that live when it was happening, and I could not believe what I was seeing. It's like, what just happened? Pitbull just got KO'd. But yeah, I just worry about the durability. Losing to Sergio Pettis, I wasn't crazy about him at that weight class to begin with. I mean, the wins are good. This is a step up, in my opinion, against Yair Rodriguez. I think Yair does win, but yeah, I'm not confident at all. And if I was betting on this fight, like, I would be probably only looking at that decision-only line or whatever. Decision-only Pitbull, if I had to bet. So, yeah. My pick is Yair. I hope he freaking KOs Pitbull so it's not boring or just has success. I want fun fights. I'm going to the card. But yeah, I gotta go Yair. Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva. I know people are super excited for this fight, but I mean, similar to this Pitbull Yair Rodriguez fight, I'm not excited. I think this is gonna be boring. I think it's gonna be a Bryce Mitchell wet blanket fest. I'm not excited for it. Bryce Mitchell's good. His grappling is really good. I know a lot of people are going to bring up Jourdain taking down Gene Silva, which I think is interesting to mention because Jourdain not necessarily like the biggest 145er. He's now on 135. He's able to take down Gene Silva a few times. So like, interesting to mention. I know people are going to be like, he's not expecting takedowns, which is fair. Although maybe you should start expecting them once he's shooting more than 2 times. There's like a third shot. Maybe you should have defended that better. I mean, to be fair, he did get up pretty quickly. But I don't think Jourdain's wrestling is all that. Like, he's got a good guillotine. But is it everything else? Like, I don't really think so, to be honest. Sadly, I love Jourdain. I'm not sure if it's like really all that. But I mean, there's no denying Bryce Mitchell's ability to get takedowns and is able to work there. He's good there. I know the controversy of him saying the stuff with, I mean, the controversy itself. I'm not sure if I can even say this on YouTube or stuff like that. But the dumb stuff he said, he's very dumb. But I think people are getting clouded mind with this. Like, when I saw this matchup, I'm just like, I'm not even sure Gene Silva can beat this guy because I think Bryce could wrestle him and grapple. Do we really know if Gene Silva has like the wrestling grappling? I know Dober tried to do some takedowns and wasn't able to get them, but like, again, I mean, to be fair, Dober's a big dude, so there's that, but I'm not sure if his wrestling's all that, sadly. As much as it hurts me to say that about Dober. Bryce Mitchell's a different level. I mean, he's able to take down Ilya Topuria and hold him down for like a minute. That says a lot. Ilya's really good. And that was short notice too. I know a lot of people are going to be looking at that Josh Emmett fight, and I think I get it. Totally fair. It got KO'd. His striking defense is pretty bad. It's pretty bad, Bryce Mitchell's striking defense. So again, I get it why people picking Gene Silva KO. Bryce has to know that it's grapple or die in this fight. It's grapple or die. So like maybe doesn't stand on the feet as much as he did with Josh Emmett. I couldn't believe what he was doing, and I had money on Josh Emmett there. I couldn't believe what he was doing. But yeah, I think Bryce Mitchell is very live to get the upset here. But I will say this though, it's scary because if Bryce Mitchell gets a takedown, you know that crowd's going to be booing. You know that crowd's going to be booing, and people are going to be asking the fight to get stood up, because they want to see Bryce Mitchell get KO'd. So I think Bryce Mitchell really needs to get like some sort of back take, because if he gets a back take, the ref's not going to do anything. He's not. Stay down there. It's all good. Bryce Mitchell, you'll be fine. Yeah, and I have to say this about the fighting nerds. Like, who do we know for sure can grapple on the UFC level of those fighting nerds guys? Kyle Barajo. Okay. Yes. Carlos Prates, we haven't really seen it. I do think he has some grappling, but I mean, it's just making assumptions, I feel like, and going off the regional scene. Rufy, I don't know. Gene Silva, I don't know. I mean, I guess Bruno Brazil, we saw it against Molly McCann, of all people. I mean, I don't know how much I want to factor that in. She got out wrestled by Wong Tong, whatever you want to call her. So, I mean, to be fair, Apple Weight got out wrestled by Loma Bunmi, who's tiny, strong, but tiny. And we've seen these other people go into the fighting nerd gym. Now Mikhail Sigchuk, but I'm not going to include him because we haven't seen him fight yet. Ricardo Ramos, Mario Bueno Silva, have they gotten better in like the grappling since getting there? I don't really think so. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think this gym is riding high. I get it. That was a sick KO by Rufy. I mean, there's no taking away from that. I picked Rufy to win there because I didn't trust King Green's chin. I don't know. I think Bryce Mitchell's super live to win this fight. He's very quality. He knocked down Edson Barboza. I still can't believe he did that. Again, maybe it's Edson's age, but Edson has looked good since that fight. I guess it was a while ago. Yeah, I'm going Bryce Mitchell. I think if he's gonna win, it's probably gonna be by decision. I think that decision line is probably the only way to play it. Like, I would have already bet Bryce Mitchell by now if I was betting this fight, and I honestly kind of wish I did, because it's a win-win. Because either Bryce Mitchell wins and you make money, cool, or Gene Silva wins and you get an entertaining KO, cool. Like that I think that's probably like a fun way to play this fight. It's like, yeah, it's a win-win sort of scenario if you think of it like that. But I wouldn't even put that much money on it. Bryce Mitchell by decision. Okay, this is just not working for some reason. Whatever. But it was like plus 600, 500, whatever last time I checked. So I don't think that's a bad way to play it. And that's how I think Bryce Mitchell wins. It's going to be like lay and pray kind of thing. But now you're not lay and pray, but crotch sniffing. So I'm not going to like it as I'm in attendance, because that's what I think happens. But maybe I'm wrong and Gene Silva gets a cool KO. Would be sick. Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. This is a good fight. I have absolutely no idea what to make of this fight. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen. This is the hardest fight for me to pick on the card. I don't even know what's going to happen. I'm going to go Chandler. I think he'll get a KO. Round 1 or round 2? Let's go round 2 because I want more violence. I think Paddy's chin is still there to be hit. I mean, there's always a worry about Chandler's fight IQ. I'm not putting any bets on this fight. I wouldn't. Just sit back and relax. I just want to sit back and relax. Although I think plus 5.5 Chandler, I don't think is a bad look. I don't think that's like a bad look at all. Like plus 5.5 Chandler, because if this fight does go long, Chandler's gonna win a round or two. He's gonna win a round or two. So I don't think I like that as a look. And especially because both these guys' cardio are so questionable. Chandler hits different. He does hit different. I'm not sure if Patty's gonna engage. I hope he does. I hope he does just for the fun of it, just as a fan. Patty's ground game is really good. I like his jiu-jitsu game a lot. I will say that. Chandler's tough to submit. I mean, he just fought probably the best jiu-jitsu guy in the division, besides maybe Islam. Islam probably be up there. And Charles Oliveira didn't get subbed there. Did good defense, so that's something to mention. Patty's boxing is atrocious. It still is. It's still so bad. His kicks are good. His kicks are pretty all right. And I think that's a path for Patty early, especially like kicking that leg that Chandler just has there and always gets hurt a lot in fights. So that's something to consider for the Patty side, and you probably should target that early on. But yeah, Chandler probably has wrestling upside if he chooses to. I mean, you never know with this guy. He's gonna do some dumb slam and then end up on bottom position somehow. That's just how Chandler is. It's gonna be fun. What I want as a fan, I'm wishing this into existence, manifesting at the moment. I want this fight to play out like Clay Guida versus Diego Sanchez, where both just come out running, just throw hook, and just throwing at one another over nonstop until like someone goes down. It would be so much fun. I just want that. That'd be like the funniest way this fight could play out, and it'd be so much fun. Probably not gonna happen. I don't think Patty's gonna want to engage in something like that with Chandler. Chandler might do that. I do think Chandler can catch him. Patty's there to be hit, so I am gonna go with Chandler. Dog, why not have another dog on to pick? I have zero confidence in this fight. I think this fight can go whatever amount of ways. Chandler's been fighting the better competition, though. You do have to mention that for Chandler, and he's been competing. Maybe not so much against Charles Oliveira, even though he did end up hurting him towards the end. Dustin Poirier, you hurt him. I mean, he got dropped by Tony. That's scary. But hurt Tony. I mean, KO'd him. Gaethje fight, war. Oliveira fight, he was winning until he wasn't. I mean, Patty's been looking good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, against Tony Ferguson, he kind of gassed out. Scary. But he kind of blew his wad. Blew his gas tank in that one. I get it. Trying to get a finish. Jared Gordon arguably didn't win. I think there's an argument for 2-3 Patty, but like I'm maybe making like a little bit of a leap with that. I'm not going to lie. I mean, yeah. These guys are not the same level as Michael Chandler to me. So give me Chandler. Yeah. I'm not confident. Then we have the main event. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes. I'm so excited for this fight. And this is the bet I have on this card. This is the bet. I'm riding with the former champion, Alexander Volkanovski, to get Diego Lopes out of there in round 4. There's one guy I do not bet against in mixed martial arts. His name's Alexander Volkanovski. I mean, maybe I should have been these last 2 fights. But man, Volkanovski's the man. He's the man. He's in the best shape of his life for this fight. Lopes is pretty good shape too. Don't get me wrong, but man, Volkanovski's a monster. I have a tough time seeing him lose this fight unless he's caught. And Lopes is definitely live to catch him. I mean, he's hurt a lot of dudes. There's no denying that. But I will say this: it's not a when Diego Lopes hits Volkanovski. It's an if. Volkanovski's movement is incredible, and I think the footwork is going to be such a big difference. Diego Lopes has not fought anyone like the likes of Alexander Volkanovski. Volkanovski's movement is so good. I mean, I of course have to mention worrying about Volkanovski like backing up and keeping the chin in the air. That is very scary. But I do think he's going to be the faster guy here. I do think so. I think he has wrestling upside. I always have to be worried about Diego Lopes' subs and stuff like that. I think that is a worry. But I mean, Volkanovski's done a great job defending subs in the past so many times. I think that's... I have belief in him to be good there still. Like, Lopes is very dangerous down there. Ortega's nobody. His jiu-jitsu grappling is incredible. So, have to mention that. And yeah, like, I think the wrestling will be on Volk's side here. I know, like, Diego Lopes is training with but it's Oklahoma State wrestling, whatever. I think it was only for like 1 week, which is like, kind of wish you would have been there for more of the camp if I wanted to see more improvements in the wrestling. So I think that's like a worry for Lopes. Like, I wish. I mean, not I wish. I mean, I'm rooting for Volkanovski. Because like, I think that would have been a good move to like be there and train even more time. Because again, I think based off his Instagram, looking at it, it looked like he was only there for like 1 week. Again, good to get those looks, but yeah. Volkanovski's that dude, man. He's that dude. I think the jab is going to be there. Lopes is so hittable. He is so hittable. He's there to be hit. And Volkanovski will crack him. He will crack him. I mean, Lopes got a good chin. He'll probably take it, but yeah. Volkanovski's not going to let off the pedal either. It's going to be... And like, that's... I have to mention this. The Lopes cardio narrative. Absolutely fair. I think it's absolutely fair. And I'll tell you why. There's valid excuses for Lopes' cardio in his past fights. Valid excuse against Evloev. Short notice. Valid excuse against Ige. Even though I know Ige was like off the couch. He was training for Brito. But still off the couch. He was not like in the end of his camp ready for a fight kind of thing. That is still different. And while Lopes was training specifically for 3 rounds for 2 weeks. So something to mention. But I still give him a little bit of a pass. There is reason to be like, okay, I can't be that mad. Ortega fight's a red flag. And I'll tell you why it's a red flag. Sure, he won every round. Sure, he did. Ortega provided very little resistance. Very little resistance. And Diego Lopes still got tired. He still got tired. And with how Lopes fights, it's a high energy style. You can't maintain that if he keeps that style for 5 rounds now. And with a guy like Volkanovski, he's going to make him work. He's going to pace him. It's going to be danger as the fight goes on. Yeah, like if you're like your cardio is not doing so well in a fight where you're in full control, having no real resistance at all. I mean, it's a bad sign. I mean, I think Zach Reese has the same sort of thing where it's like against Jose Medina. He's like, oh, he won all the rounds, but like he's sort of still gassed. He's sort of still gassed, but there was zero resistance back at him. If there's resistance back at him, what happens? I think it's something dangerous happens. Nothing good happens. I think that's what's gonna happen here. I think it's a similar sort of example. Obviously, Zach Reese, Diego Lopes, completely different level caliber fighters, but I'm just comparing like the cardio standpoint because early finisher type dudes. I am sort of worried about like clinch moments, like maybe like Lopes can do something similar with like an uppercut in the clinch like he did with Sodiq. I hope Volkanovski's been preparing for that. I hope Volkanovski's been preparing and like moving back with the chin up. I really hope so. He's had a lot of time off, and I think that's good considering like the KO losses he's come back from. I will say this: those 2 KOs probably KOs like a lot of dudes. Those 2 KOs probably KO a lot of dudes. I really do think so. So I don't really put much stock into that. Good recoverability for Volkanovski. So I really hope he doesn't get hurt once in this fight for my sanity's sake, my heart's sake. But yeah, I think the footwork difference is going to be so huge here. And I think he can get wrestling going. I think he can get to half guard, stay in half guard, make Lopes work, get him tired. He's been in 5 rounders before and he's gone downhill. It's happened in the past. I don't see why it would be anything different, to be honest. I think Volkanovski's just another level above. It's a different level. Volkanovski's arguably lost to the 2 best dudes in the sport right now, in like Ilya Topuria and Islam Makhachev. No shame in that. So I know people are gonna bring up, he's like 36. He's 36 now. He's gonna be the under middleweight / I guess welterweight, because like they have 2 wins now, Bilal and Woodley. But like, was it 35 and over? Like the 35 and over curse. Like people are like, oh, but no one has won it. We're due for regression. Whether it would be like Volkanovski or Pantoja. I mean, Volkanovski took a round off Ilya Topuria. That tells you a lot. That's impressive as hell. To take a round off Ilya, not bad. Not bad. He was looking pretty good. I will say this though. Yeah, I Volkanovski absolutely can win every round here. Absolutely can dominate. Minus 5.5, I don't hate for Volkanovski because I think he probably dominates every round. And I do think he gets a finish late. What else? I feel like there's more I want to say in regards to this fight. He's in great shape again, like I said at the beginning of this breakdown. Great shape, and I think his speed's going to be there. I believe the fight IQ. I mean, there's no denying Volkanovski's a great game planner, has great fight IQ, and is a great adjuster. He's very good at those things. And never quit. I love what I've been hearing from Volkanovski this week. I truly believe he's going to get that belt back. And again, there's someone I don't bet against us, Volkanovski. If there's someone who's going to break this 35 and under curse for these lower weight classes, it's Alexander Volkanovski. It's this guy to do it. And yeah, and to be fair, I also want to mention the matchups Lopes has been getting has not been anything like super crazy. Tucker, I picked against Lopes in every one of these fights, but yeah, Pat Sabatini, this is a good one. This did show like fight IQ for Lopes. I will say that. The reason why I went Pat Sabatini to win that fight was because I thought fight IQ was going to be the detriment of Diego Lopes and he would get wrestled. But shout out to Lopes. He was able to defend the takedowns and it hurt Sabatini right away on the feet. Even though Sabatini cracked him pretty bad when watching it back, I was like, I cannot believe Sabatini cracked this guy. That's crazy. So yeah, he knew the assignment. He had to get up on the feet and land a big shot on Sabatini. But it's different. I think Volkanovski's a different level than Sabatini is. The wrestling. Against Sadiq Youssef, caught him good. It's nothing really much to say. He's got great power. Sadiq Youssef's chin's not necessarily the best. I know people are going to be like, Volkanovski's chin's not necessarily the best. The things he got KO'd with, again, KO a lot of people, I think. So I'm not entirely sold on that, but I don't want Volkanovski getting hit by this guy. This guy clearly does hit different. Danny Ige, able to take everything, put it on Lopes late, short notice, but very possible something like that happens here in round 3. Like the fight, it's Volkanovski's live to get 10-8 late, very very live to get 10-8 late, and Brian Ortega looked like a punching bag that fight. He looked awful. He looked genuinely awful. And part of it, Lopes looking great, but again, like I said, zero real resistance in that fight. So I'm not trying to take away from Lopes. I kind of am. I kind of am doing that, aren't I? But compared to the people Volkanovski has fought, it's different. Yeah, I think Volkanovski wins the fight. Yeah, he's my bet of the card, the biggest bet of the card. And I love him here. I think he gets that belt back. And I will say this is just complete, like, this nonsensical reasoning, obviously, like, narrative wise, if you wanted narrative nation kind of thing. We're in Miami. Miami is Redemption City. Think about the fights in the past that we've had in Miami in the UFC in the recent years. Adesanya versus Pereira 2. Adesanya gets redemption, gets his belt back against Pereira. Dustin Poirier versus BSD. People think Dustin Poirier is done. Now fighting this killer from France, BSD. Y'all must have forgot. Finishes BSD. Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera 2. Oh, Chito's going to mess up Sean O'Malley like he did in the first one. I'm not sure if most people were thinking that, but you know what I mean. O'Malley dominates in the return. Redemption season. Alexander Volkanovski. Redemption season to get that belt back. That belongs to him. Get that featherweight division going. That's my champ. I believe in my guy Volkanovski. I think he gets it done. And of course, the other reasons I mentioned earlier. So let's go through everything again. I'm going to give you my preferred more significant strikes bet, more takedowns bet. So go over that for this card. and we'll be done. So yeah, Nora Canole, Haley Cowan, probably Cowan more takedowns. I think that's the only way she's gonna be really trying to approach this fight. But more 6 strikes, Nora Canole. She's gonna be landing the big shots, I think, and they're gonna be different. So yeah, that's what I think. Oh, this is interesting. Tulio Gore. I lean 6 strikes Tulio, but takedowns, I don't really know where to land on that. So I kind of want to pass on the more takedowns part for this fight. Raposa Sumodarji. I think Sue more 6 strikes is pretty good. More takedowns, I feel like I want to stay away from. So yeah, I like Sue though a lot. Dumas Oleksiejczuk. Dumas takedowns. I mean, Oleksiejczuk ain't shooting no takedowns. Dumas more takedowns. You can bet that and not be worried. I don't know what the odds are going to be on that, but if they're any sort of good, you can feel pretty safe betting that. More 6 strikes. It could go either way. I wouldn't want to touch that one personally. Elkins Arosa is interesting. I would go probably Elkins more takedowns because Arosa's very live to go for a guillotine. He's very, very live to do that. But more 6 strikes. Arosa, he's a high volume guy. He's going to throw a bunch. So, yeah, I think Arosa more 6 strikes. Hooper Miller, I think Hooper's going to have more 6 strikes and more takedowns. I think the ground and pound for Hooper is going to be more than what Jim Miller has to offer on the feet in terms of significant strikes. And takedowns, I think Hooper's the bigger guy and is going to be going for takedowns. And Jim Miller is more willing to probably pull for a guillotine. Probably shouldn't do that here. But, yeah, that's what I think. Genji Doba versus Yan Xiaonan. More 6 strikes, Yan Xiaonan, if it goes how I think. But in front of Genji Doba, more takedowns. I mean, that's her game plan. She has to do it. It's probably going to be a nasty number, but yeah. Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson. Sean Woodson, more significant strikes, more takedowns. Low-key, Woodson might be able to get some grappling going. So, like, I would personally want to stay away from that. But, I mean, I had to lean on a side for more takedowns, probably Ige, but I'd probably pass on that one. Reyes Krylov. I like Krylov more takedowns. I think he's the only one who would probably go for any takedowns. And more 6 strikes. I lean Krylov too, but that could be like a little more dicey. I will say that. So, yeah. Pitbull Rodriguez. Probably Pitbull more takedowns. Although he honestly has not shot many takedowns like at all in like recent years. Which is why I mentioned like I thought if Pitbull was gonna like win a boring fight, it'd be like a clinch fest against the fence. Because he hasn't been going for takedowns, so I think that's like a real possibility. Like most of Pitbull's sequences to getting onto the ground was him pulling a guillotine. But probably more takedowns Pitbull. I don't think Yair's gonna be doing anything like that. Then more 6 strikes, I do have to lean Yair. I think he'll just land more 6 significant strikes. Bryce Mitchell, Gene Silva. Bryce Mitchell, more takedowns. I'm not sure how good that number is going to be. More significant strikes, probably Gene Silva, but I'm not even sure because maybe I just want to pass on that one personally. But I mean, if I have to pick a side, I guess Gene Silva would probably be the one because I'm not sure how many significant strikes Bryce Mitchell's going to throw. Because again, his style is kind of like lay and pray-ish kind of thing. Although Bryce Mitchell by crucifix would be hilarious if he gets that in this fight. Exercise the demons of Gene Silva. Yeah, I expect this fight to be boring, and I think it's going to be a grapple fest from Bryce Mitchell. Chandler Pimblett. Again, I don't know. More 6 strikes, more take. It can go either way for each of those, I think. Maybe Chandler more takedowns because he'll go for some slam or whatever, but Patty knows, like, he could probably take the back or whatever and maybe find submissions like that and get takedowns. I don't know. Give me Chandler, but I'm not confident about that. And then the main event, Volkanovski Lopes. I like Volkanovski 6 strikes a lot. I think even if he does get KO'd, your significant strike bet is probably very safe unless he gets KO'd like right away. Significant strike should be good. I think more takedowns should be pretty good for Volkanovski too, although I do worry that maybe somehow that Oklahoma like state or whatever the college he trained at, like for a week wrestling, just all of a sudden he's like a godlike wrestler and takes down Volkanovski. So I kind of want to stay away from the takedown one. I like the 6 strike one though. I think that's going to be good. I think Volkanovski's going to do his work on the feet and look great. So, yep, that's a breakdown. Cannot wait to go to the fights. It's going to be a great card. Hope y'all enjoy. Hope we make some money. Let's go Volkanovski. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Can't wait for the next card, which I believe is Ian Gary versus Carlos Prates. I wish that Prates was on this card still. I was super excited. I would have went with Prates over Neal. But it's going to be a fun one. Gary versus Prates. Better fight. Main event, 5 rounds. Very excited. Yeah. See you then. Hope y'all have a great one. Enjoy the fights. Let's go Volkanovski.